With the power of AI, we will clothe the Insta-thoughts. We will purify them of their tattoos. We will liberate them of their piercings. We will lengthen their skirts. We will piggyback off the outrage around AI and commit unrelenting psychological warfare to our own ends. We will show them the lives they will never have. We will force them to gaze upon the image of true beauty reclaimed from their own corrupted visage. We will bring decency back into the world, one seething roasty at a time. So this DignifAI thing, what they're doing is they're taking pictures of like thoughts posting their stuff on the internet. Of like this, honestly, this image here is not a great example because there's more cleavage showing afterwards. But I've got loads of other examples here. This one's not a great example. They were with the tattoos, which, you know, a little bit of tattoos on a woman I don't mind, but they were with the piercings as well. A lot of the other stuff made her look a bit more normal in this picture. Now, no matter how much you object to misogyny or whatever, no matter how much Falco may object to the level of misogyny, you really can't object to this. Like, what is the objection here? Copyright infringement? Maybe? I don't know. But all they're doing is providing pictures where they look more dignified afterwards. Here's another example.
Taking their autonomy away.
Here's a set of examples. Dignify and purify, apparently. So here's, you can see on the bottom right here, she's got the tits out. Di likes this image, but the alternative is she's now wearing something. You got this where she's got her ass completely uncovered out in public somewhere, and then it's covered up by a.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's a different thing. We'll get to that later. Ass completely out, and then it's covered up. Now that actually kind of looks wrong. I don't know what's happened with this lump on the rear end here, but whatever. It's covered up, and then in this one as well, midriff showing, and then midriff not showing, and like shorts replaced by a skirt. So this one on the bottom right, this is a different project. Okay, we'll talk about that one later. But either way, there's more images here as well. This is the one I used for the thumbnail today. You got on the left clearly a thought trying to get attention for posting this half-naked picture, and then covered up with some nice winter clothing, some sort of dress and a winter coat, using a DignifAI. And this DignifAI account has the same profile picture as that guy who was doing the... oh no, it's not exactly the same, is it? It's similar to the one that was doing the Blackwatch Chinese. It's not the same, it's similar. But it's got the nerd emoji thing. So then there's more. There's this one as well, where they bring this back up over the breasts. There's a bunch of others as well. What I wanted to say about this, I'll post this image into chat, since Ginger, you have a version of it there, but it's low res. Here's the high res version.
I posted some as well.
Yeah. There's loads of examples of this. Now, what I want to say about this is fine. Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. This is an indirect, like, it's similar to the it's okay to be white. You really cannot object to people putting up a sign that say it's okay to be white. You really can't object to it, and yet the left gets so angry about it. Seem to anyway, a lot of them.
You know why? Because they actually do look way more like pretty and dignified in these clothings that they put them on.
Yeah, it's something like that.
They do.
So there's that, right? I have no problem with this at all. It's good. Continue doing it, unless it does cause problems. And maybe my opinion changes later, but I don't think it's going to. It seems fine. It seems good. Good troll and meaningful, right? But minor point, this is not an AI model that you pass in the saucy image and it gives you out a Dignify one, I don't think. Having looked at the examples that they've done here, they differ enough conceptually that I think that it's this DignifAI account is like taking in the images and then manually adjusting them with some steps so that they output looking better. They have not made an AI. They are using existing AI to render this stuff. So minor clarification, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Meat Bun has posted, which one of these is the dignified one? Because you've got a woman in the workplace on the left here. Ooh, icky, bad. And then you've got a exotic dancer in her workplace here on the right, which is, maybe not good, but at least it's more of a womanly job. I don't know, guys. Which one of these is the dignified one? What do you think, Di?
I mean,
She's torn.
I don't like horrors. I would rather a girl be dressed in like this kind of suit than the right one. But it depends on the setting, right? Like if you want to go see like a female stripper, this is what you'd expect on the right.
Yeah.
So entirely depends what you want.
Mm. The invention of DignifAI, using AI to edit modest clothing over thirst traps. So here's a more of an example. There's a nice one here actually. Now that's a big improvement. She looks very kind of like, be careful what I say here. She looks kind of platonically cute in that second bit, like genuinely like a cute animal. She's just like she's enjoying painting in her like big overalls. In the first one, it's like it's just too much. It's too gratuitous. Like I enjoy my ideal level of degeneracy in like media that involves women, say VTubers, is not 0. It's like a little over 0. I wouldn't like them to just completely avoid the mention of sexuality. I kind of am interested in what they think about it sometimes. It gives me good insight in how women think. Though I don't need that quite so much anymore. I'm very fortunate. So I'm not completely against this. I'm not some stick in the mud conservative traditional or anything like that. I'm probably less traditional than the average of Cabal. But still, this is gratuitous. If I am if I was looking for pornography, I would go and find something more graphical. If I'm looking for cute looking girl that's been painting, then that's correct. This one here with the proper clothing. I don't want to see this middle ground anytime, really. It just isn't useful. It's just gratuitous. This is much nicer because this is actually about the painting and her doing it, not about trying to get money from thirsty internet. And you got more here, where this is not really about anything. She's the only subject in the painting. It's not about the painting. But still, if you knew her, you wanted to see what she'd been doing recently. Well, she went hiking in this snowy area. There you go. She was wearing appropriate clothing. Actually, on the one on the left here, what I will say is that like that takes some fortitude to want to do that in the cold. But again, it's just sort of gratuitous. And even if there are people like okay, so if you're talking about pornography, let's assume for a second we've got a hypothetical person who does right. So already not a great idea. Oh, sorry, does to pornography. Already not a great idea. But if you have the choice between they watch some weird degenerate shit, or they like a few women, or perhaps very few, maybe one women's stuff, and it's all very softcore, but it's just like nice and personal stuff. Both of these are damaging in different ways. The personal stuff, it's a parasocial relationship. You're too reliant on specific people. You don't know what a real relationship is like. You're getting constant rewards from them, even though you're not doing anything yourself. You get deranged in how relationships work. That's not a good idea. It's not hugely degenerate, and on the hugely degenerate side, there's a bunch of other issues that can happen. You get desensitized to sexuality at all, to normal sexuality. You may never enjoy normal sexual interactions with women because your standards have been changed so much. And there's probably other forms of derangement that come with that as well. Both bad, but in different ways. But like this, you could see as just like the softcore alternative, where maybe some of you would say that the softcore version of those two is less bad than the hardcore weird fetish stuff. Maybe you'd say that. I'm not sure. But if so, at least this isn't that. So at least it's probably personal. That's the best you can say about it. But I don't think it's a good idea either way.
Oh, I can praise an AI, but also want it destroyed. You know, like these kind of things aren't like impossible. Like that, you can think both of these things at the same time. Whenever you this is the issue. Like you can see a good thing that an AI can do and be like, oh, that's funny. That's a funny use, and people didn't think it would turn out that way, because with this AI, so many people were saying, oh my god, deep fakes, right? And they are happening, but what they actually end up getting mad about is that there's clothes being put on women instead of them being used as objects. This is what's getting the massive amount of traction, is that, oh my god, they're putting clothes on women, I can't believe this, which is very funny, but I can still believe that all AI needs to be destroyed. including this one.
I mean, in that case, you could simply describe that as a short-term goal versus a long-term goal. While AI has not yet been destroyed, Di wants it to be used for this stuff, but she does want it ultimately to be destroyed.
Yeah, I live in a reality where it's like I'm not like technology is always going to keep advancing, right? Like I don't think it's a good thing having more and more AI getting involved in things because again, it'll just I think destroy us and it'll be what destroys us one day. And we probably should stop it, but it's not going to stop because nobody's going to stop progress. So you kind of have to live with the fact that these things are going to be coming into existence, and praise what you like about it, and then put down what you don't like about it.
Yeah,
and
I
hope
agree.
that like that will fix and keep everything in a direction that is at least quote unquote good as opposed to pure evil.
Yeah,
And
I
I
agree.
think it's much better to use these types of AIs to clothe women than to use it in and like use them as porn objects, like taking people's faces and making porn of them. I think this is much better. And if society goes in this direction, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. This was also on the same topic. Here's what you'd look like if you were wearing clothes. Here's a transformation. And like, yeah, I'm not a fan of the face or the body type really, but she does look more elegant and dignified on the right. Looks more like a real person. This is the one we already saw. she apparently blocked them for making this image as well. Like, well, okay, but you can't stop us. I say us, I'm not doing it, but I'm supporting it. You can't stop people from doing this. You can stop yourself from seeing it, mostly, until someone that is that you haven't got blocked reposted at you, which, given that this is now publicized, is probably going to happen a lot. Like the women being too gratuitous and too overly open with their bodies is deranging our societal norms for evolutionary optimization. It is a bad idea evolutionarily to do this. And so any means of discouraging it that's ethical, I would probably endorse. Last one on this. This 4chaner says, I told you, using AI to put clothes on them pisses them off 1,000 times more than vice versa. All the hashtag #MeToo shit was humble bragging about how hot they were. I think a lot of it was. And AI declothing is the same. They want to be sex objects, and AI does that. The AI that does that is a kind of flattery. I think that's true of a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, yes. He says, whereas AI that does the opposite is slut-shaming and makes them seethe like nothing else. AI tattoo removal is the worst of all because it shows how much better they looked before ruining themselves. And there's a lot of truth to that, yeah. Falco, this is not even about the left necessarily. This is more so about thoughts. And like, I think anyone that can be trolled usually should be trolled. Because if they can be trolled, it means that they are oversensitive to something. And in society, if we have too many people that are oversensitive to certain stimulus, then it can cause problems. So trolling should be done. So it wouldn't matter if they were left-wing or right-wing people in this case. As long as I agreed with the overall, the overall direction this was heading in terms of its societal impact, and as long as it was successful trolling, in fact, maybe even just one of those things, then I think I'd agree with it. It's not really about the left, Falco. I don't spend much time thinking about the left as its own entity. I spend most of my time thinking about the principles that we need to support. I use the left as a shorthand. I don't really care about the tribes.